Hello everyone, my name is Kid Lee and welcome to my spoiler-free review of The Last Jedi. Now I will be referencing some things that are in the trailers, so that is just a warning for all of you right there. First of all, I just got back, still sort of processing my thoughts about the movie. Did I like it? Yes, absolutely. Should you go out and see it? Yes, you should, especially if you're a Star Wars fan in any way, shape, or form. This is a great Star Wars film. A really great Star Wars adventure. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is after The Force Awakens and people saw some of the footage from the trailers on this movie, a lot of people thought, is this going to be a rehash of Empire Strikes Back? I can definitely say no, it is absolutely not. You know, of course, there are some similar scenes in the trailer for The Last Jedi. There was one of the scenes where it's like, oh, the walkers are going against these craft that kind of reminds you of Hoth a little bit. And then there's another scene where it looks like Luke is potentially training Rey. I think, that's going to happen. And there's some, Yoda comparison scenes. Oh, it's really, instead of, it goes back to Yoda training Luke and those similarities. But again, you will get that a little bit, but it's nothing like too crazy. Now, how I want to really get into this is I want to say that this is one of the weirdest, in my opinion, it's one of the weirdest Star Wars movies that they've ever done. And I can definitely see why Lucasfilm and Disney are so high on Rian Johnson, the director right now, and why they give him his own trilogy, because he did a really good job with this film, but there's just a lot of weird stuff that's going on in this film, and it's really hard for me to talk about without actually spoiling things. But it just, when I got done watching this film, that's the first thing I thought was, like, okay, this is a Star Wars film, but it's unlike any Star Wars film that I've seen before. It just had a very different feel and tone to it, where the J.J. Abrams film, The Force Awakens, to me, that felt like a Star Wars film. It felt like 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, and Rogue One. And again, Rogue One is another perfect example. To me, that felt like a Star Wars movie. But there was just something about this movie that, even though, again, we're seeing all these characters that we know and we love, and you've got, X-Wings and TIE Fighters and, all this stuff happening, it's like, I'm seeing Star Wars, I'm looking at it, but it just had a little bit of a different feel. So I'd be really curious for those of you who have also seen this film, if you also felt that way, that you felt that it had a little bit of a different feel. Another really, really interesting thing about this is when it comes to the Jedi and the Sith, there are things that have been done in video games or even in some of the cartoons like Clone Wars and Rebels, some things that we've never seen on the big screen, and for the first time, we finally get to see some of that on the big screen. And I've always wondered, it's like, boy, they do some really interesting and creative things with the lightsabers and the Force and stuff, again, like in video games or whatever. I wonder if we're ever going to see some of that really weird stuff on the screen, and we finally do in this movie. So it's really, really interesting. There's a couple of scenes where it's just like, are they gonna do that? Oh yeah, they just did. So that's fantastic. And it's like, wait a minute, is that flying? Is this what? Yeah, they just did that. Okay. So it's like you're getting some of that kind of weird stuff, and it's just like, okay, all right. I think we've seen this before, but it's good to see it on the big screen finally. Again, if you've seen the trailers, in addition to all of the previous characters, there's a couple of new characters in the mix. I thought all of the new characters were really good. They fit in really, really well. They tied them in with what was going on really well. They had them mingle, with the older characters really well, and overall that was really well done. I'm trying to think what else I can say without just totally spoiling everything. There is a lot to talk about in this movie. There is a lot going on. There's a lot that happens. There is a lot to talk about. And it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with this third film, because there's some crazy things that happen in this film which actually leave you like, all right, so what's going to happen in this one? Because you know what? I'll be honest, I didn't really feel that between The Force Awakens and this film. You know, The Force Awakens ends with Rey holding the lightsaber out to Luke, and you kind of know, or at least you think you know, how this film is going to go, but it doesn't. And I think for the third one, they've left that open even more. It's like, all right, where are they really going with this? You know, and I really kind of wish that Rian Johnson would get the opportunity to finish this trilogy. But the fact that they're bringing JJ back for this third one, I think I'm a little bit more concerned now after I've seen this film. It's like, I don't know if JJ can pull off this end or not. I think that's my main concern. Hopefully he will do this movie justice and not just have, you know, an army of porgs defeat the First Order, if you know what I'm saying, right? So I think my verdict on this is I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8 out of 10. And this is after my first showing. I do plan on seeing it a couple more times. I think my official score could rise. I don't think it's going to lower. There's no way I'd go lower than an 8. But it's like, well, do I make it a 9? You know what? I'd probably just stay with an 8. Because I don't know if I can rise it either. But just overall, it's a fantastic movie. It's going to be really interesting to see what Rian Johnson is able to do with his own Star Wars trilogy. And I'll tell you the other thing that kind of has me worried about what they're going to do, and this is like completely public knowledge, when they had the idea for these 3 films, The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and then whatever the third one's going to be, they said that the first one was basically going to be the Han Solo movie, you know, kind of air quotes. And then the second one was the Luke Skywalker movie, and then the third one was the Princess Leia movie. Well, since Carrie Fisher has passed on now, I don't know what they're going to do for that third movie. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with, I guess, you know, and I'm actually going to stop myself right there. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. So it's just going to be interesting to see what they do for that third movie. Because does Princess Leia live in Last Jedi? Does she die in The Last Jedi? You know, did they have to do some clever editing, perhaps, to fill in some scenes? I guess you just have to watch the movie for yourself. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, that'll go ahead and do it for this one. So once again, we have us another awesome Star Wars movie, and everybody should definitely go out and see it. So thanks for watching. Everybody keep playing, have fun, and we'll see you next time.